Imagine if just a few words from you could replay in his mind over and over, keeping him up at night wondering why he can't stop thinking about you. Because the truth is, they can. Specificity in compliments is the difference between making someone smile politely and making their heart skip a beat. When you tell a man something general like "you're handsome" or "you're nice," it can feel good in the moment, but it rarely sticks. Why? Because those compliments could be said to anyone. They don't capture what's unique about him, and therefore they don't carry the emotional weight that keeps your words echoing in his mind long after the conversation ends. Specificity shows you're paying attention. It says you notice him in a way most people don't, and that's incredibly attractive. It's not just about pointing out the obvious, it's about revealing that you've tuned into details others have overlooked. Think about the difference between "you look nice today" and "that deep green shirt makes your eyes look ridiculously intense." In the first, you're giving him a pleasant but forgettable pat on the back. In the second, you're linking your compliment to something uniquely him, his eyes, his style, the way those two combine in a moment you're sharing. This kind of observation feels personal. It tells him you're not only looking but seeing, and there's a big difference between the two. Men crave being recognized for more than the surface. When you go deeper, you trigger curiosity in him. He starts wondering what else you've noticed, and that makes your presence more magnetic. Specificity also works because it ties your compliment to a mental picture. The brain remembers visuals far more easily than vague statements. If you tell him, "I love the way you lean forward when you're explaining something you're passionate about," it's like you pull people into your world. You're not just complimenting his passion, you're giving him an image of himself that feels dynamic and alive. That image becomes a mental replay he can't help but revisit. The more he revisits it, the more he associates that warm feeling with you. Another reason specific compliments work so well is that they feel earned. A generic compliment could be automatic politeness, but a precise one implies thought and genuine attention. If you tell him, "The way you handled that tense moment with your friend earlier was so calm and respectful, it made me admire you more," you're acknowledging not just an outcome, but a character trait. You're showing that you value qualities that matter to him and that you actually took the time to notice them in action. That's a huge confidence boost, and it creates an emotional imprint that's far more lasting than a casual "you're amazing." Specificity also adds intimacy. The more personal the compliment, the more it feels like something meant just for him. You're not broadcasting it for the world. You're whispering it into his personal identity. That makes it special. It's as if you're saying, "This is my private observation about you," and that little exclusivity makes the compliment 10 times more powerful. The magic of specificity isn't just about flattery, it's about connection. It's telling him, without needing to spell it out, that you are truly present with him in the moment and that you value what makes him different from everyone else. When you do this, you're not just making him feel good, you're making him feel unforgettable. Complimenting effort rather than just the outcome is one of the most powerful ways to make someone feel truly appreciated. When you focus on the process a man goes through rather than only the end result, you acknowledge something deeper than surface-level achievement. It tells him you understand and value the energy, skill, and dedication he invests into what he does. Most people only praise the result because it is the most visible, but when you notice the hard work or the intention behind it, you separate yourself from the crowd. You are essentially saying, "I see the part of you that others overlook," and that creates a stronger emotional impact. For example, imagine a man prepares a dinner for you. Many people might simply say, "This tastes amazing," and while that's nice to hear, it focuses only on the final product. Instead, if you tell him, "I love how much care you put into making this. You even remembered I like extra garlic," you're complimenting the thoughtfulness and attention he poured into the act. You're not just praising the food, you're recognizing the care, planning, and effort he chose to give. That kind of compliment hits differently because it's not replaceable. It's tied to his unique way of doing things. When you acknowledge effort, you also make him feel capable and competent in a way that boosts his sense of pride. If you tell a man, "I can see how much you've been working on your fitness. Your discipline is inspiring," it's more meaningful than simply saying, "You look great." The second compliment could be applied applied to someone who hasn't worked for it, but the first one credits his dedication and persistence. It shows that you value the journey, not just the destination. This kind of recognition can even strengthen his motivation because it validates his hard work, making him more likely to keep showing that side of himself around you. Complimenting effort also deepens trust because it shows you're paying attention to the little things. It might be the way he keeps calm in stressful situations, the hours he spends helping a friend, or the careful way he explains something so you fully understand it. These are often quiet forms of effort that go unnoticed by most, so when you point them out, it's almost like you're holding up a mirror that reflects back his best qualities. Men don't often get that kind of reflection, so it feels rare and valuable. This approach to compliments is especially powerful in moments when he might not feel like he's at his best. By acknowledging the effort, even if the result isn't perfect, you reinforce the idea that his value isn't conditional. If he tries to fix something for you and it doesn't turn out exactly right, saying, "I really appreciate how you went out of your way to help me with that," still leaves him feeling respected and important. It creates a safe emotional space where he feels encouraged to try, to contribute, and to show up fully. And when a man feels both recognized and safe to keep putting in effort, he naturally associates those positive feelings with you. Mixing confidence with playfulness in a compliment creates a unique emotional spark that lingers far longer than a standard, straightforward remark. Confidence shows you know your own value and are comfortable expressing your attraction, while playfulness keeps the exchange light, fun, and flirtatious. This combination is powerful because it makes a man feel both desired and entertained at the same time. It's not simply about what you say, but how you say it. When you deliver a compliment with a subtle smirk, a teasing tone, or a playful challenge, you invite him into a dynamic where there's chemistry, not just admiration. A purely confident compliment can sometimes feel too intense if it's delivered without warmth, and a purely playful one might seem like you're not taking him seriously. But when you blend the two, you create a balance where he knows you're genuinely attracted to him, yet you're not putting him on a pedestal. For example, instead of saying, "You're so strong," you could smile and say, "Careful, if you keep showing off like that, I might start asking you to open all my jars." It's light-hearted, but it still communicates that you've noticed his physical capability and you like it. The reason this works so well is because men often enjoy a little challenge. A compliment wrapped in playfulness makes him feel like there's a game between you, and games spark curiosity and engagement. It creates a push and pull dynamic where your attraction is clear, but you're not giving it all away at once. That makes your words far more memorable because they carry both emotional warmth and an element of surprise. Confidence in your tone also makes your compliments more believable. If you deliver a compliment hesitantly, it can feel like you're not sure of what you're saying or that you're trying to please him. But if you look him in the eye, smile, and say it like you mean it, he will believe you. And more importantly, he will believe you see something special in him. When you layer in playful energy, you also give him permission to respond in kind, which builds rapport and attraction. Even small touches of teasing can transform a compliment from nice to unforgettable. If he's telling you about an accomplishment and you say, "Wow, look at you being all impressive. Should I be taking notes?" You're both admiring him and keeping the tone flirtatious. That kind of interaction sticks in his mind because it's emotionally charged without being heavy or over-serious. It makes him associate you with a feeling of light, exciting connection. Mixing confidence with playfulness in your compliments ensures they don't just stroke his ego. They engage his emotions, stimulate his curiosity, and make the interaction feel alive. It's not just about the words themselves, but the energy behind them. And when that energy blends self-assuredness with a little fun, it's irresistible. Triggering his hero instinct through a compliment is about speaking to a deep, almost primal part of his identity. Most men want to feel like they can protect, provide, or make a positive difference in the lives of the people they care about. When you recognize and appreciate that side of him, you're validating something he might not openly ask for, but deeply desires. The hero instinct isn't about making him feel superior or inflating his ego without reason. It's about showing that you value his ability to step up, to be dependable, and to make you feel safe or supported in ways that matter to you. A man's hero instinct can be triggered in small, everyday moments. If he helps you fix something, walks you to your car at night, or gives you advice that genuinely helps, these are opportunities to acknowledge not just the action, but the role it plays in your life. Saying something like, "I love that I can count on you to make me feel safe," or "You have this way of making problems seem smaller when you're around," goes beyond a basic thank you. It tells him that his presence, his effort, and his protective nature have real emotional value to you. When you compliment him in this way, you're not just noting a skill or a behavior, you're linking it to how it makes you feel. That's important because it transforms a simple act into something meaningful. For example, "You're really good at fixing things" is fine, but "You always make me feel like everything is going to be okay when you take charge" connects his action to an emotional benefit. This kind of feedback reinforces his sense of purpose in the relationship or interaction, making him want to lean into that role even more. The hero instinct also thrives when his efforts are noticed without him having to ask for recognition. If he offers to help you carry something heavy or steps in to solve a problem without being prompted, acknowledging it shows that you're aware and appreciative. You could say, "I didn't even have to ask, you just handled it. That's so attractive." This not only flatters him, but also affirms that you notice and value his initiative. It's worth noting that triggering his hero instinct doesn't mean pretending you can't do things for yourself. It's about allowing space for him to contribute and then recognizing the intention and care behind his actions. Men who feel their efforts matter are more motivated to keep showing up in those ways. Complimenting him on how he makes you feel secure, supported, or cared for activates that deeper drive in him to be your go-to person. When you make a man feel like he's not just appreciated but truly needed in a meaningful way, it leaves a lasting impression that keeps you on his mind. Personalizing a compliment to his identity means going beyond generic praise and tapping into what makes him uniquely himself. Every man has certain traits, passions, or values that form the core of who he is. And when your compliment aligns with those, it feels deeply personal. This isn't about guessing what he likes to hear. It's about paying close enough attention to notice what he's proud of, what excites him, and what he invests himself in. When you speak to those aspects, it's like you're reflecting back the best parts of his self-image, and that creates a strong emotional connection. The first step in doing this is observation. You might notice he lights up when talking about his career, a hobby, or a cause he cares about. Maybe he values his intelligence, his creativity, his humor, or his leadership skills. When you recognize and validate those traits, you're speaking directly to his sense of identity. For example, instead of a vague "you're smart," you could say, "I love how you can take a complicated idea and explain it in a way that makes it click instantly." That's specific, but it's also tailored to a skill he likely values about himself. Personalized compliments work so well because they show you've been paying attention. If you mention something he's put effort into, like his sense of style, his musical taste, or his ability to make people laugh, it communicates that you notice details others might overlook. A man who prides himself on his adventurous nature will remember you saying, "I admire how you're always up for trying something new. It's inspiring," because it reinforces a part of his identity he enjoys expressing. This approach also avoids the problem of sounding like you could be talking to anyone. When a compliment is tied to his personality or life choices, it becomes exclusive. He can't just swap himself out with another person and have the compliment still fit. That exclusivity makes your words more powerful because it's clear they belong to him and him alone. Personalizing a compliment also deepens intimacy because it requires you to connect with him on a level that's more than surface observation. It tells him you've been listening to what he says and watching how he moves through the world. Even something simple like, "I love how patient you are when teaching someone something new," can resonate deeply if patience is a trait he values in himself. The impact of this kind of compliment lasts longer because it affirms his self-perception. People naturally want to spend more time with those who see them in the way they want to be seen. When you highlight the traits he's proud of, you're not just giving him a momentary ego boost. You're reinforcing his own sense of worth in a way that keeps your words echoing in his mind long after they're spoken. Timing and delivery can make the difference between a compliment that fades quickly and one that stays with him for hours or even days. The same words can land completely differently depending on when and how you say them. A compliment given at the right moment, especially when he isn't expecting it, has a way of cutting through the noise of daily life and planting itself firmly in his memory. It's not only about catching him off guard, but also about choosing a moment when your words will feel the most genuine and impactful. Unexpected compliments often work best because they feel unforced. If you tell him how attractive he looks while he's getting ready for an important meeting, it's likely to give him an extra boost of confidence right when he needs it. If you tell him you admire his patience after watching him calmly handle a frustrating situation, the compliment feels earned and directly connected to something he just demonstrated. These moments are powerful because they're tied to a real event, making your words more believable and harder to forget. Delivery is just as important as timing. The tone of your voice, your facial expression, and even the pauses you use can completely change the effect of what you say. A quiet, sincere compliment delivered while making eye contact can feel deeply intimate, while a playful, teasing tone can make the same words feel flirtatious and fun. The way you say it should match the mood you want to create. If your goal is to make him think about you all night, slowing down your speech, leaning in slightly, and softening your voice can turn a simple phrase into something far more magnetic. Compliments given in private often carry a different weight than those said in public. Public praise can make him feel proud, but private praise often feels more personal and intimate, as though you're sharing a secret just between the two of you. If you choose to give a compliment in front of others, making it specific to him ensures it won't sound like empty flattery. But when you whisper it just to him, you create a small, exclusive moment that no one else gets to share, which increases its impact. It's also worth noting that timing can mean holding back sometimes. Overloading him with compliments can dilute their value, but choosing the right moments to speak up keeps them meaningful. Compliments that come when he's not fishing for them carry more weight because they feel spontaneous and sincere. If he's in the middle of doing something mundane and you suddenly say, you have the most calming presence, it can stop him in his tracks because it's completely unexpected. The perfect mix of timing and delivery ensures your compliment doesn't just make him smile in the moment, but lodges itself in his thoughts. When it comes unexpectedly, is tied to something real, and is delivered with intention, it can create a lasting emotional imprint that keeps you on his mind. In the end, making a man think about you long after you've parted isn't about showering him with endless praise. It's about giving the right compliments in the right way so they land with depth and authenticity. By being specific, recognizing his effort, blending confidence with playfulness, triggering his hero instinct, personalizing your words to his identity, and mastering timing and delivery, you turn simple observations into moments that touch his pride, spark his curiosity, and make him feel truly seen. When your compliments carry that kind of emotional weight, they don't just flatter him, they create a lasting connection that keeps you in his thoughts long after the conversation ends.